Today, we are diving into a corruption scandal that absolutely rocked Uganda. It's a wild story that starts with a promise of help for some of the country's most vulnerable people. And it all revolves around thousands of simple iron sheets.
So our story kicks off in a region called Karamoja. Now you have to understand, this is a place where life can be incredibly tough. A lot of communities there really depend on government support to get by. And it was right here, in this fragile place, that a critical promise of aid was made.
So what was this promise all about? Well, back in 2022, the Ugandan government rolled out a major plan. The whole idea was to give direct support to folks in Karamoja, a region that's seen more than its fair share of instability.
And get this wasn't just some random handout. The aid was targeted. These iron sheets were meant for various specific groups: former warriors trying to build a new life, women, and the elderly. The plan was to give them roofs over their heads, to build some stability, literally, to construct a better, more secure future.
And the government definitely put its money where its mouth was. 10,000 iron sheets were bought and paid for. On paper, it was all accounted for. Every single sheet had a destination, the people of Karamoja. It all looked perfect.
But this is where the story takes a really dark turn. That clear, official, well-documented plan, it started to completely unravel. And that promise, well, it was about to be shattered.
So, remember those 10,000 sheets that were supposed to be delivered? Yeah, only 1,000 of them actually made it to the people they were meant for in Karamoja. Just 1,000. That's only 10%.
Which means, and this is just staggering, 9,000 iron sheets just vanished. Poof. They were checked out of the government warehouses, but they never arrived. No transfer documents, no delivery confirmations, they were just gone.
And that, right there, is a central question that kicked off this whole investigation. It's what everybody wanted to know. If these 9,000 iron sheets didn't go to Karamoja, where in the world did they end up?
Okay, so investigators get to work. They've got a massive mystery on their hands and a trail that's gone completely cold. They had to piece this whole thing together, one clue at a time.
And pretty quickly, they uncovered something really disturbing. The trail didn't lead to some criminal warehouse or the black market. Nope. It led right back into the halls of power. It turns out senior officials and powerful politicians were quietly getting their hands on these missing sheets. One high-ranking minister even confirmed she'd received a batch herself.
So the investigation grinds on for months. But then, they get a huge break. A lead points them away from the capital city out to a private farm in a rural district called Mukono.
And on that farm, bingo! They found exactly what they were looking for. Thousands of the missing iron sheets still stamped with the official government branding, just hidden away. It was the smoking gun, the undeniable physical proof they needed.
With this discovery, the whole game changes. The case moves from the farm to the courtroom. And that same high-ranking minister, Mary Katutu, who admitted she got the sheets, now she had to stand in front of a judge and explain how they ended up there.
So what was the defense? The claim was that the sheets weren't stolen, they were just being held for another good cause, helping landslide victims in a different region. Sounds noble, right? The problem was, when the court asked for the paperwork, there was nothing. No official requests, no transfer forms, zero records to back up that story.
So this entire complicated case really boiled down to one simple question. You can forget all the legal jargon for a second. The court just had to decide, did this minister know, or at the very least, should she have known, that these iron sheets were meant for Karamoja and that she had no right to take them?
So, after all the evidence was presented, the day of the verdict finally arrived. On April 26, 2024, the Anti-Corruption Court was ready to deliver its final judgment.
Before giving the final verdict, the court laid out 3 crucial facts that it had established beyond any doubt. Number 1, the iron sheets were absolutely meant for Karamoja. Number 2, they were diverted illegally. And number 3, the court concluded the minister had every reason to know all of this.
And with those facts set in stone, the court delivered its powerful one-word verdict: guilty. The official crime she was convicted of was dealing with suspect property. You know, that's basically a legal way of saying you're handling goods that you have very good reason to believe were acquired illegally or weren't meant for you. But a court verdict, as important as it is, really isn't the end of the story. Because beyond the legal drama, there is a very real and very painful human cost to this kind of corruption.
And that's what we can't forget. The
The real victims here were the people in Karamoja. Those former warriors, women, and elders who were promised a little bit of help to build a better life, but were just left waiting for roofs that were never, ever going to show up.
In the end, this whole scandal was never really about iron sheets, was it? It was a story about power and about trust. And more than anything, it was a story about how easily both of those things can be abused. It really makes you wonder, how do you even begin to rebuild that trust once it's been so completely broken?